November 19th, 1942, 7:30 a.m. The frozen steppes northwest of Stalingrad. Through morning fog, Soviet artillery opens fire with 3,500 guns, the largest artillery barrage on the Eastern Front to date. The ground shakes. The sky turns orange. For 90 minutes, shells rain down on Romanian and German positions. Then, through the smoke and snow, come the tanks. Hundreds of T-34s, followed by waves of Soviet infantry. The Romanians, equipped with obsolete weapons, low on ammunition, already demoralized, break almost immediately. Within hours, Soviet forces punch through the Axis lines and race south. 200 miles to the south, a second Soviet offensive strikes the next day. Two massive pincers are closing on Stalingrad, where the German Sixth Army has been locked in brutal urban combat for 3 months. 4 days later, on November 23rd, the pincers meet at Kalach on the Don River. 290,000 German and Axis troops are surrounded. The trap is sprung. What began in August 1942 as Hitler's offensive to capture the Volga River city of Stalingrad has become Germany's greatest catastrophe. Over the next 5 months, the Battle of Stalingrad will rage, not just for a city, but for the fate of the Eastern Front and ultimately the outcome of World War II. This is Stalingrad, where German offensive capability dies, where the myth of Wehrmacht invincibility shatters, and where the tide of war turns irrevocably against Nazi Germany. To understand Stalingrad, we must understand Hitler's 1942 strategy. Operation Barbarossa's failure. In June 1941, Germany invaded the Soviet Union expecting victory within months. By December, the Wehrmacht is stalled outside Moscow, having suffered nearly 1 million casualties. The Blitzkrieg has failed. Germany faces what Hitler feared most, a prolonged war on the Eastern Front. Summer 1942, Case Blue. Hitler's 1942 offensive focuses south, toward the oil fields of the Caucasus. Germany desperately needs oil. Soviet oil from Baku and Grozny fuels the Red Army. If Germany can seize these fields and deny them to the Soviets, the strategic balance shifts dramatically. The plan. Army Group South drives southeast toward the Caucasus oil fields. Along the way, capture Stalingrad on the Volga River to secure the northern flank and cut Soviet transport along the river. Stalingrad is strategically important, but not the primary objective. It's named for Stalin, which gives it psychological significance, but the real prize is oil. The initial success, summer 1942, brings German success. The Wehrmacht drives deep into southern Russia. Soviet resistance collapses in many sectors. By August, German forces approach Stalingrad. On August 23rd, the Luftwaffe launches massive air raids on Stalingrad, killing an estimated 40,000 civilians and destroying much of the city. General Friedrich Paulus's Sixth Army, battle-hardened, confident, over 270,000 strong, advances on the ruined city. The Soviets seem on the verge of collapse. Stalin issues Order Number 227. Not one step back. Retreating without authorization means execution. The Red Army will defend every inch of Soviet soil or die trying. By September, German forces enter Stalingrad. What Hitler and Paulus expect to be a quick victory becomes something else entirely. A grinding urban meat grinder that consumes armies. Stalingrad, in September 1942, is a nightmare landscape. The city stretches 30 miles along the western bank of the Volga River, but is only a few miles deep. German bombing has destroyed most structures. Rubble fills streets. Buildings are burnt-out shells. Into this hell, the Soviet 62nd Army, commanded by General Vasily Chuikov, retreats with orders to hold at all costs. The urban battlefield. Urban warfare favors the defender. Every building becomes a fortress, every basement a bunker, every pile of rubble provides cover. The Germans' advantages, tanks, aircraft, artillery, become less decisive. Combat is at grenade-throwing distance, often hand-to-hand. The tactics, Soviet defense, hug the Germans. Stay so close that German artillery and air power can't be used without hitting their own troops, small storm groups. 6 to 8 men with specialized weapons defend buildings, snipers psychological warfare, and kill German officers. Night resupply across the Volga under constant bombardment. Every position held until overrun. Then counterattacked German offense. Systematic house-by-house clearing. Combined arms infantry, armor, engineers, artillery, flamethrowers, and demolitions. Attrition warfare slowly pushing Soviets back. Hold every gained yard the geography. The city becomes known by landmarks that become legendary. The grain elevator. A massive concrete structure fought over for days. 50 Soviet defenders hold off German attacks until nearly all are killed. Pavlov's house. Sergeant Yakov Pavlov and 30 men defend an apartment building for 58 days, beating off countless German attacks. More Germans die attacking this one building than died taking Paris. The Red October Factory, a sprawling industrial complex where fighting rages through workshops, assembly halls, and warehouses. The front line runs through factory buildings. Germans hold one floor, Soviets the floor below. Mamiev Kurgan, the central hill overlooking the city. Whoever controls it can observe and shell the entire battlefield. It changes hands repeatedly. The hill is so saturated with shell fragments that after the war, grass won't grow for years. The railway station, captured and recaptured 15 times in a single day. Bodies pile up faster than anyone can remove them. For soldiers on both sides, life expectancy is measured in days, sometimes hours. A Soviet rifleman arriving at Stalingrad has an average life expectancy of 24 hours. A Soviet officer, 3 days. Water is scarce. Food is scarce. Medical care is primitive. The wounded freeze to death before evacuation. Dead bodies freeze where they fall and remain throughout winter. Snipers kill from ruins. Artillery pounds constantly. The Luftwaffe bombs around the clock. The Volga behind Soviet lines is under fire. Ferries carrying reinforcements are sunk regularly. Men drown in the freezing water or die on the shore. Yet the Soviets hold. Every day, German forces push forward yards, sometimes mere meters. Every night, Soviet counterattacks retake some positions. The line barely moves. The casualties mount horrifically. While the world watches the grinding battle in Stalingrad's ruins, Soviet planners prepare a masterstroke. Operation Uranus, General Georgy Zhukov, Stalin's most capable commander, plans a massive counteroffensive. The concept is elegant and devastating. German forces in Stalingrad have driven deep into a salient. Their flanks are held by Romanian, Italian, and Hungarian armies, less well-equipped, less motivated, stretched thin. These are the weak points. The plan: 2 massive armored offensives, one north and one south of Stalingrad, will punch through the Axis flanks, then race to meet behind the German Sixth Army, encircling it completely. The build-up is massive and conducted in absolute secrecy. Over 1 million troops, 13,500 artillery pieces, 900 tanks, 1,100 aircraft. German intelligence fails to detect the scale of preparations. Hitler and Paulus believe the Soviets are exhausted, incapable of major offensives. November 19 to 23, 1942, Day 1, Nov 19. The northern offensive strikes Romanian positions. After a devastating artillery barrage, Soviet tanks pour through the breach. Romanian units disintegrate. Germans rush reserves to plug gaps but can't contain the breakthrough. Day 2, Nov 20, *, the southern offensive launches. Again, Romanian positions collapse. Soviet mobile forces race northwest. Day 3-4, *, the pincers close rapidly. German commanders realize the danger, but Hitler forbids retreat from Stalingrad. Stand fast is the order. Day 5, Nov 23, *, at Kalach, the Soviet pincers meet. The trap is closed. The German Sixth Army, 290,000 men, is surrounded. The news stuns Berlin. The Sixth Army is one of Germany's finest formations. Its commander, Paulus, is highly regarded. How could this happen? The airlift promise. Hermann Goering, commanding the Luftwaffe, assures Hitler the Sixth Army can be supplied by air. He promises 500 tons of supplies daily, the minimum needed to sustain the surrounded force. It's a catastrophic lie. The Luftwaffe lacks the aircraft, the fuel, the pilots, and the weather conditions. The maximum they ever deliver in a single day is 289 tons. Most days, it's far less. The Sixth Army begins to starve. Hitler orders Paulus to hold Stalingrad at all costs. No breakout attempt. The Sixth Army will stand fast and await relief. The German pocket, the Kessel, becomes a death trap. The shrinking perimeter, Soviet forces attack constantly, compressing the pocket. Airfields within the perimeter fall one by one. Luftwaffe transports must land under Soviet artillery fire, then unload and take off immediately. Losses are catastrophic. As airfields are lost, supplies must be airdropped. Much lands outside German lines or is destroyed on impact. The supply situation becomes desperate. Winter sets in December 1942 brings brutal cold. Temperatures drop to -30 degrees F and below. German soldiers lack winter clothing. Frostbite becomes endemic. Men freeze to death in their foxholes. Equipment fails in the cold. Vehicles won't start. Weapons jam. The relief attempt. In December, Field Marshal Erich von Manstein launches Operation Winter Storm, an attempt to break through Soviet lines and relieve the Sixth Army. Panzer divisions fight to within 30 miles of the pocket. Manstein signals Paulus to break out and meet the relief force, but Hitler forbids it. Paulus, loyal to orders, remains in Stalingrad. The relief attempt fails. The panzers are driven back. The Sixth Army's last hope dies. The deterioration, by January 1943, conditions in the pocket are apocalyptic. Starvation, rations drop to 200 calories per day, then less. Men can barely stand. Horses are slaughtered and eaten, then cats and dogs, then rats. Cold, frostbite and exposure kill thousands. The wounded freeze to death because there's no fuel to heat aid stations. Disease, typhus, dysentery, and other diseases spread in unsanitary conditions. Ammunition, artillery and machine gun ammunition is nearly exhausted. Small arms ammunition is rationed. Hope, the men know relief isn't coming. They're going to die or be captured. The surrender demand, January 8, 1943, the Soviets offer surrender terms. Paulus and his army will be treated as prisoners of war. The alternative is annihilation. Paulus requests permission to surrender. Hitler refuses. The Sixth Army will fight to the last man. January 10, 1943, Soviet forces launch the final offensive, Operation Ring. The objective, destroy the pocket. The German defense, despite hunger and cold, remains fierce. But with each day the perimeter shrinks. The wounded cannot be evacuated. The dead cannot be buried. Supplies don't arrive. Mamayev Kurgan falls, January 26th. The hill that dominated Stalingrad for months is finally captured. Soviet forces reach the Volga, splitting the pocket in two. The factory district, the Red October, barricade and tractor factories, scenes of months of fighting, finally fall. Thousands of Germans surrender. The final days, January 30th. Hitler promotes Paulus to field marshal. No German field marshal has ever surrendered. The implication is clear. Paulus should commit suicide rather than be captured. January 31st, Paulus surrenders. He cannot watch his men die for nothing anymore. Hitler's expectation of suicide is ignored. February 2nd, 1943, the last German resistance ends. The Battle of Stalingrad is over. The casualty count, the numbers are staggering and disputed, but conservative estimates. German and Axis, 500,000 plus killed, wounded, or captured, total Axis losses 6th Army, 290,000 surrounded, 6,000 survived captivity to return to Germany, 900 aircraft, destroyed 1,500 tanks destroyed Soviet, 1.1 million casualties, killed, wounded, captured, missing, city of Stalingrad, 40,000 civilians killed, infrastructure. The city is 99% destroyed. The human cost is almost incomprehensible. More people died in the Battle of Stalingrad than the United States lost in the entire war. The captives, 91,000 German soldiers march into Soviet captivity. They're starving, frostbitten, diseased. Many die on the march. Others die in camps from typhus and malnutrition. Of the 91,000 captured, approximately 6,000 eventually returned to Germany, most not until the 1950s. The rest die in captivity. Paulus survives imprisonment and eventually settles in East Germany, breaking completely with his Nazi past. Hitler's reaction. Hitler declares 3 days of national mourning. The disaster cannot be hidden. The myth of German invincibility is shattered. But publicly, the Sixth Army's sacrifice is portrayed as heroic resistance that delayed Soviet advances. Privately, Hitler rages. He blames everyone, Paulus for surrendering, the Luftwaffe for failing to supply, the Romanians for breaking. Everyone except himself. The strategic impact, Stalingrad, is the turning point of the Eastern Front. Before Stalingrad, Germany advances, Soviet Union on defensive, Wehrmacht, seems unstoppable, victory appears possible after Stalingrad. Germany retreats, Soviet Union advances, Wehrmacht vulnerable, defeat seems inevitable. Germany will launch one more major offensive, Kursk in July 1943. But it fails. After Kursk, Germany is in continuous retreat to Berlin. Stalingrad's significance transcends military history. Military lessons. 1. Urban warfare favors defenders. Stalingrad demonstrates that cities become fortresses where attacking advantages diminish. 2. Logistics matter. The failure to supply the pocket dooms the Sixth Army. Goering's promise of airlift is fantasy divorced from reality. 3. Flexible strategy beats rigid orders. Hitler's refusal to allow retreat or breakout turns a tactical problem into catastrophe. 4. Weather is a weapon. The Russian winter kills as effectively as bullets. German lack of preparation for winter warfare is criminal negligence. Psychological impact, for Germany, the invincible Wehrmacht has been defeated. Stalingrad proves Germany can lose. Morale plummets. The question becomes not if Germany will lose, but when. For the Soviet Union, after brutal defeats in 1941 to 42, Stalingrad proves the Red Army can win. Soviet morale soars. The Great Patriotic War can be won. For the Allies, the Soviet victory reduces pressure for immediate second front. It proves Germany can be beaten by the Soviets, allowing Western allies more time to prepare for D-Day. The human cost, beyond statistics, Stalingrad represents individual tragedy multiplied by hundreds of thousands. The German soldier who survives 5 months of hell only to die of typhus in captivity. The Soviet soldier defending Pavlov's house who will never recover from his wounds. The civilian who loses everything in the August, bombing the families in Germany and Russia who receive telegrams. Missing in action, presumed dead. The symbolism. Stalingrad. Now Volgograd becomes synonymous with sacrifice, endurance, and turning points. The city's name, bearing Stalin's name, gives the battle ideological weight beyond its military significance. After the war, the city is rebuilt with massive monuments. The Motherland Call statue on Mamayev Kurgan, 280 feet tall, dominates the rebuilt city, commemorating the victory and the dead. February 2nd, 1943. Silence descends over Stalingrad for the first time in 6 months. No artillery, no gunfire, no aircraft. Just wind howling through ruins and the moans of the wounded. The city is a moonscape. Not a single building stands intact. Frozen bodies, German, Soviet, civilian, litter the ruins. The Volga is clogged with wreckage. Mamayev Kurgan is so saturated with metal fragments that compasses don't work. Soviet soldiers walk through the ruins in disbelief. They've won, but the cost is staggering. Entire units cease to exist. Divisions are reduced to handfuls of men. The victory feels almost hollow amid the destruction. For the 91,000 German prisoners beginning their march into captivity, Stalingrad's nightmare continues. Most will never see Germany again. The Battle of Stalingrad was the most brutal urban battle in human history. It was industrial warfare at its most destructive. Two totalitarian states throwing men and material into a meat grinder with no regard for human cost. But it was also the turning point. After Stalingrad, Germany's defeat becomes inevitable. The question is no longer if the Nazis will lose, but when and at what cost. The Eastern Front will continue for 2 more years. The advance to Berlin will cost millions more lives. But the tide turned at Stalingrad. The Wehrmacht's offensive capability died in that frozen city on the Volga. Today, visitors to Volgograd walk through the Hall of Military Glory on Mamayev Kurgan, where an eternal flame burns and names of the fallen are inscribed. The city has been rebuilt. Life has returned, but the scars remain. In Russian memory, Stalingrad represents the Great Patriotic War's defining moment, the place where the Soviet Union stood against Nazi Germany and prevailed despite unimaginable costs. In German memory, it represents catastrophe, the hubris of Hitler's strategy, the suffering of the Sixth Army, the beginning of the end. In world history, it represents the moment when Hitler's conquests stopped and his empire began to crumble. The frozen hell of Stalingrad claimed over 1.5 million casualties, but it changed the course of World War II and ultimately the fate of the world.